one thing I think that's the burning question that's kind of on everyone else's mind is also what's happening with Wildfire. So, the reason why management switched things up was because the branding change, and also they want to rechange the dynamics up a little bit. It just happened that Wildfire got really unlucky, being the group that got most recently debuted. And so we ended up getting split up for that reason. Wildfire is not dead. Wildfire can still exist as a group. No one's prohibiting us from existing as a group. The only thing that's really changed is that we won't get official, like, company endorsed events or content, which I'm gonna be honest with you guys, we've been doing everything ourselves anyways. So all the events you've seen from Wildfire has been Wildfire headed and Wildfire run. So nothing's really changed on that front. TLDR kind of got unlucky with Wildfire being debuted and immediately restructured. But Wildfire will always remain Wildfire no matter what. As of right now, the only thing that really has changed is official content and official avenues of promotion and stuff for generations, or I guess in this case scenario, units will be coming from what are we called? Outlaws. Sorry, that's gonna take some time getting used to. But Outlaws will be the like technical official generation, but Wildfire still very much so exists as a subunit. So, and just to let you guys know, you know, like this was something that like everyone in the company did agree upon. It was something that like was heavily discussed and heavily considered with both talent dynamics and talent preferences in mind. So if on the outwards end, if it looks like it kind of just came out of nowhere, I do want to reassure you guys that it didn't. We've been talking about this for a hell of a long time. So it's been in the works for quite a while now, and management has considered it with our opinions and our preferences and stuff along the way as well, to the best of their ability with the restructuring and all. So do want to reassure you guys, it's not sort of like they just sprung this on us out of nowhere and Wildfire just got killed immediately, you know? So TLDR, if you don't want to listen to all that, nothing's really changed other than officially corporate-backed events will not represent the old generations anymore. We are still free to do our own events. We're still free to celebrate on our own accords. We're still free to acknowledge those, you know, those generations and those groupings. But we won't have corporate-backed things. I saw someone ask if Wildfire will still have anniversary. No. I'm just gonna be completely blunt and forward with you guys. Nah. Any official corporate-backed event is not going to be acknowledged by company anymore. Will we still collab? Yes. Yes, we will. Will we probably celebrate our 1-year anniversary as Wildfire regardless, even if it's not corporate-backed? Most likely. We're probably just gonna do a stream or something, you know? We're probably still gonna celebrate it. Like, but it just won't have corporate backing in terms of support for assets, for production, etc., etc. Will you still all make original songs together? No. That is also something I'll be very blunt about. Unless it's somehow crowdfunded, unless it's somehow completely from our own budgets, original songs from Wildfire are not gonna exist anymore. Basically, we have Trailblazer, and that'll still be under Wildfire, technically. This sucks, I don't wanna, can we return it? I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, like, I won't sit here and lie and say that I wasn't sad, you know, when the news came out about this. But I've also had a lot of time to digest about this. Like I said, we've been kind of talking about this and having conversations about this for a pretty long time now. So I think I'm kind of at the stage of I accept what's happening, and I am excited to see what happens in the future, because I also really love Cersei and I also really love Ruby, and I want to see what we can do together as a group as well, you know? Yeah, man. I'm really sorry, guys. I know it's not super happy news to come back to, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Sacrifices are necessary to bring about the hag gen. Yeah, I mean, listen. I hope you guys will stay excited for Outlaws. Regardless if Wildfire was the gen to bring you into Idol Corp or into VTubers, just know that the spirit of Wildfire will still be alive, and we will still all collab with each other, and we will still, we're still really good friends, and we still will have very frequent interactions with each other. Really big thing, the really only big thing that's changing is we have a little bit more shifted budgeting in terms of projects and in terms of more company-backed things. But I do hope that you'll stay excited for Outlaws regardless. So I'm hopeful for the future. I've always cared more about individuals than gens anyway, personally. Yeah, I do know that some people are really into gens though. You know, like, end of the day, I think there's a big part of why people like corporations is because generations feel very fun. You know, generations feel very much so like a family of sorts. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like dynamic that goes on between generations, and there's a lot of inside jokes between, you know, like people within generations and stuff like that. So I do think that there is a big perk to them, which is why I was a little sad that Wildfire got disbanded. Actually, no, I was pretty sad that Wildfire got disbanded. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've always kept it 100 with y'all, but when I first learned about the news, I was actually like really sad. I don't know if it showed on stream at all, but there was a couple weeks where I had a really hard time just being enthusiastic during Wildfire streams. Just because like it was kind of looming in the back of my head. But I do think nothing drastic will change. I think nothing drastic will really, I guess, come to fruition. End of the day, we still love each other. We're still super tight with each other in terms of like friendship, and we still want to collab with each other. I think that's the biggest part. I think I can only speak for my gen, you know, or I guess my past gen. But like we all still really want to collab with each other. We all still really enjoy working together. And definitely don't expect to not see Wildfire anymore. I'm still excited, just a bit disappointed, but I look forward to watching you grow in the future. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the general sentiment. I actually was talking to management about this because I during the last like talent meeting, I was pretty adamant on like them putting on an FAQ, kind of just like an explanation for everything, a bit more of like a transparency type of deal. And like one of the big reasons why I like had really requested it was because I knew that less so than being mad, I think more people were going to be sad. Because it's disappointing, you know? It's a sad thing to feel like this thing you've gotten so familiar to is now like drastically changing, you know? And I was telling management that like I think having some clarity or some official statement, explanation from an official source would really, really reassure those fans who feel sad or feel kind of lost or feel unsure of things moving forward. You know what I mean? Because I think this change, I think this change is going to warrant anger. I was actually very much so expecting the reaction to be much worse. So, being that the reaction wasn't much worse, I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I was expecting a lot more people to be angry, but I was also expecting, rather than anger, I think a lot of people were just going to be very confused and also very sad. Because it is a big change, you know? It's a big change, especially if you know, see yourself as someone who supports a gen fully, you know? If you see yourself as a Firefly, you have a full fucking name to yourself. You know, you identify yourself as this person who supports this entire gen, and suddenly this gen is gone, you know? Wildfire had a strong 6 months and it was worth it. I agree. I love Wildfire. I think no matter what, I love my girls. I'll always support them. And I think like even if we won't have like big production events and stuff like that, you know, for Wildfire and whatnot, I think we can still do like fun stuff together. Like we can still do like group collabs and stuff like that. We can definitely still do group events and stuff like that. You know, we can still celebrate, you know, our dates, the dates that we debuted and whatnot. So end of the day, I don't think too much changes. It's just a little bit of a more structural change officially.